Hello everyone, so welcome back to my channel. Today we will be understanding environmental impacts, like how we classify and understand impacts caused by a project. In EIA, we do not just say that there is an impact, we carefully analyze the type of impact. How can we group environmental impacts? Environmental impacts are grouped in different ways so that we can properly understand and evaluate them. First, based on nature of impact, beneficial or detrimental. Beneficial means positive impact, detrimental means negative impact. For example, a project creating jobs is beneficial, a project causing pollution is detrimental. Then second is based on reversibility, reversible or irreversible. Reversible means the environment can recover, irreversible means damage is permanent. Example, noise pollution is often reversible, loss of biodiversity is often irreversible. Third is based on repair possibility, repairable or irreparable. Repairable means damage can be fixed using management practices. Irreparable means it cannot be fixed. For example, water pollution can sometimes be treated. Extinction of species cannot be reversed. Based on duration, short term or long term. Short term impacts last for a limited time, whereas long term impacts last for years or decades. Based on planning, planned or accidental. Planned impacts are expected and part of the project. Accidental impacts happen unexpectedly. Example, construction noise is planned, oil spills are accidental. Based on type of effect, direct or indirect. Direct impacts occur immediately, indirect impacts occur later or elsewhere. Based on accumulation, single or cumulative. Single impact comes from one activity, cumulative impact results from many activities over time. Based on spatial scale, local, regional, national, or global. Local affects a small area, regional affects a wider area, national affects a country, global affects the entire planet. Example, climate change is a global impact. Based on project phase, construction phase or operational phase. Some impacts occur during construction, others occur during operation. Based on continuity, temporary or continuous. Temporary impacts occur for a short time, continuous impacts occur regularly or permanently. The three main classifications of environmental impact. All environmental impacts are mainly grouped into three types: direct, indirect, cumulative. Direct impact, it is the most immediate type of impact. A direct impact happens at the same place and time as the activity. Example, if a factory releases smoke, the pollution in the nearby air is a direct impact. Indirect impact, this is a secondary effect. An indirect impact happens later or in a different place due to the original activity. For example, polluted air from a factory spreads and affects nearby villages. So it has delayed or spread out effect. Cumulative impact, this is the most important and often ignored type. A cumulative impact happens when many small impacts add up over time. For example, one factory causes small pollution, many factories over years cause serious environmental damage, and combined effect of multiple activities over time is studied in cumulative impact. integrated part of the EIA process. This is a very important principle in EIA. The key message is direct impacts, indirect impact, cumulative impacts should not be studied separately. They must be studied together and continuously during the entire EIA process. What does integrated means? Integrated means not isolated, not treated as separate steps, considered at every stage. So impact assessment is not a one-time activity, it is a continuous process. Stages of the EIA process. Now this diagram shows the main stages: screening, scoping, assessment, mitigation. What happens at each stage? In screening, we decide whether the project needs EIA. Even here we should think about all the type of impacts. Scoping, we define important issues. We must include direct, indirect, and cumulative impacts. Assessment, we analyze impacts in detail. All three types must be evaluated together. Mitigation, we plan to reduce impacts. Solutions must address all the type of impacts. Why integration is important? If we study impacts separately, we may ignore indirect effects. We may underestimate cumulative damage. So decisions may become incorrect. Direct impacts are those impacts that occur due to immediate interaction between a project activity and the environment. Direct impacts happen at the same place at the same time due to the activity itself. There is no delay and no intermediate process. In the image, you can see a bulldozer is clearing trees. So what's happening? Trees are being removed immediately. This is a direct impact because the activity is land clearing. The effect is immediate deforestation. Examples of direct impacts include cutting of trees during construction, air pollution from factory emissions, noise from machinery, soil disturbance during excavation. Direct impacts are immediate, local, easy to observe, directly linked to the activity. Why these impacts are important? Because they are the easiest to identify. The first impacts noticed in EIA are these, and these are the base for predicting indirect and cumulative effects. Example, direct impact on water quality. So what's happening here? An industry is discharging wastewater directly into a river. So this is a direct interaction between activity and environment. Activity, industrial discharge, environment is river water. Now why it is a direct impact? Because the pollution enters the river immediately. No intermediate process is required. The effect occurs at the same location, therefore it is a direct impact. Let's understand step-by-step impact chain. So step 1, effluent discharge. Wastewater containing chemicals and organic matters enter the river. Step 2, increase in biological oxygen demand. Microorganisms start decomposing waste. They consume oxygen. Step 3, decrease in DO, dissolved oxygen. Oxygen level in water drops. Aquatic life struggles to survive. Step 4, water quality declines. Fish may die, toxic substances may increase, water becomes unsafe. Why this is important in EIA? In EIA, this helps identify pollution sources, predicts damage to ecosystems, plan mitigation like treatment plants. Indirect impacts are secondary effects that happen later, elsewhere, or through a chain of events, not immediately from the project itself. So, direct impact, it is immediate. Indirect impact is after effects or chain reaction. They often occur away from the original site and they take time to appear and involve multiple steps. Easier way to understand is ripple effect. Think of throwing a stone in water. Splash is direct impact. Ripples spreading outward is indirect impacts. Okay, from the previous example, we can understand direct impact was effluent was released, causing river pollution, decrease in dissolved oxygen, leading to death of fish. Indirect impacts are fishermen lose income, food chain gets contaminated, human health problems via drinking water or fish. Downstream areas also get polluted. So these are not immediate but happen due to the first impact. So indirect impacts are secondary or tertiary. They are complex, they are delayed, and they are spatially spread, means occur elsewhere. Example, from air emission to acidic soil. So step 1, emission. This is direct activity. Industry releases sulfur dioxide into the air. So this is the direct impact. Step 2, chemical reaction in atmosphere. Sulfur dioxide reacts with water vapor forming sulfuric acid. Step 3, formation of acid rain. Acid forms in clouds, falls as acid rain. Step 4, soil becomes acidic. Acid rain deposits on land, leading to decrease in soil pH and plants get damaged. So why this is an indirect impact? Because the original activity is air pollution, the final effect is soil degradation, and there are multiple steps in between. So this is a secondary or indirect impact. Next example, a chain reaction in the water. So step 1 is direct impact. Industry discharges hot water into a water body, which causes rise in water temperature. Step 2, first indirect impact occurs, that is warm water will result in less dissolved oxygen, due to which aquatic animals, aquatic organisms, aquatic plants, they start dying, resulting in decline in aquatic flora, reduction in fish population. Step 3, second indirect impact, that is tertiary impacts. Fewer fish will be there, leading to lower fish catch, fishermen lose income, and this becomes a socio-economic impact. So you can see here why it is important. This shows indirect impacts can cascade, that is, one leads to another. They can move from environmental to ecological to economic. Higher level impacts are often more serious. Now in this example also it was like earlier, hot water was discharged, leading to ecosystem damage, then further leading to economic loss. Okay, so indirect impacts are not always negative. They can also trigger development or growth. Indirect impacts can lead to secondary developmental activities such as new roads, increased population, shops, services, urban expansion. These are called growth-inducing impacts. Before versus after, you can see from this slide. Before, there was natural landscape, minimal human activity. After, indirect effects, you can see power project attracts people, roads and transport develop, shops and services appear, population increases. This is indirect development triggered by the project. Why this is still an indirect impact? Because the project did not directly build houses or shops. These changes happened as a consequence of the project. So they are secondary indirect effects. Indirect impacts can be positive, like economic growth, job creation, infrastructure development, and negative, leading to environmental degradation, pollution, pressure on natural resources. Cumulative impacts means total combined effects of many activities over the time, not just one project, but past plus present plus future projects together. Even if one project has small impact, many projects together can cause big damage. For example, single project, one factory leading to small air pollution. Multiple projects, many factories plus vehicles plus roads leading to heavy pollution. This combined effect is cumulative impact. A project, for example, power plant, it is evaluated, but nearby roads, housing, other industries all together create a large environmental impact. So cumulative impacts are additive. means effects add up, synergistic, effects may multiply. This is more dangerous. Long term, that is build over time. Large scale, it affects bigger regions. Example, so what's happening here? The existing situation is a cement plant is already operating. It already causes air pollution, dust emissions, noise. So this is existing impact. New development, plant is being expanded, a captive power plant is added. This creates more emissions, more resource use. This is incremental impact, that is new added impact. Cumulative impact is combination. Total impact is not just the new project, it is existing impact plus incremental impact equal to cumulative impact. Why this is important in EIA? When evaluating the expansion, you cannot study only the new plant, you must study both together. That's why an EIA report on cumulative impacts is required. Types of combined effects. In this example, cumulative impacts may include higher air pollution, dust plus emissions, increased carbon dioxide emissions, more traffic due to transportation of materials, greater stress on water resources, health impacts on nearby population. Fine. So for remembering for exams, important exam phrases: incremental impact is impact of new project, existing impact already present, cumulative impact is both combined. Induced impacts. These impacts are changes that happen because a project encourages new activities or development around it. These impacts are not directly caused by the project itself but occur because the project creates opportunities such as better access, jobs, or economic growth. A project leads to growth and that growth creates additional impacts. Now, how does induced impacts occur? A project is built, such as a road, factory, or power plant. The area becomes more accessible or economically attractive. People move in or businesses are set up nearby. New development takes place, such as housing, shops, services. These developments create additional environmental and social impacts. Now, what are the key characteristics? They are not part of the original project plan. They do not have a direct link to the initial activity. They are often long term. They reflect the growth potential created by a project. They can be difficult to predict. Example, a new highway leads to roadside markets, housing development, a power plant attracts industries and workers to the area, a large project increases population and demands for services. Why they are important? Induced impacts can increase pressure on natural resources and the environment. They may lead to urban expansion, pollution, higher resource consumption. Because they are not always obvious at the start, they are often underestimated in the environmental assessments. Relation to other impacts. Direct impacts happen immediately from the project. Indirect impacts occur through cause and effect chains. Induced impacts come from new development triggered by the project. And cumulative impacts are the total effects of all impacts combined. Okay, so now this slide shows the examples of induced actions, which help you understand how induced impacts appear in real life. It gives three common situations where a project leads to additional activities that were not originally planned. First, new roads developing. When a major road or highway is built, smaller connecting roads often develop later. These are not part of the original project. They happen because people want access to the new road. This leads to more land use change, increased traffic, expansion of nearby areas. Second, increased recreational activities. When a project improves access to natural areas, such as lakes or rivers, more people visit for leisure activities. Fishing, picnics, and tourism increase. This can lead to pressure on natural ecosystems, waste generation, disturbance to wildlife. Third, construction of service facilities. When, de- when development increases in an area, new facilities are built such as shops, schools, fuel stations, housing. These support the growing population and workforce. This results in urban expansion, increased demand for water, energy and land, and other additional environmental impacts. The challenge: induced and cumulative impacts are hard to quantify accurately, especially over the long term. Now, why is it difficult? Because of high uncertainty. Induced impacts depend on future human behavior. It is unclear how much development will happen, where it will happen, and when it will happen. Many factors like policy, economy, and population influence outcomes. Long-time horizon: these impacts often occur gradually over many years. EIA studies usually focus on shorter time frames. Long-term changes are harder to track and predict. Complex cause-effect chains: impacts are not direct, they involve multiple steps and interactions. For example, if project will be there, it will lead to growth, land use change, and environmental stress. Lack of clear data: no exact data exists for future developments. Planners must rely on assumptions or models. Now, what does this mean for EIA practitioners? They often estimate or make informed judgments rather than precise calculations. Predictions are based on experience, trends, scenarios, so results are approximate, not exact. So inducing cumulative impacts are important but difficult to measure because they depend on uncertain long-term and complex future developments. So that was all for today. Hope you liked the video. If you liked the video, please like, share, comment and subscribe.